Okay, here's the deal. After a tumultuous storm at sea, we've been shipwrecked on an uncharted island somewhere off the coast of Skyrim. We're a level 1 character with no experience in combat or wilderness survival, and the rest of the crew all perished in the wreck. Now we're alone on this island, save for the predatory beasts and ancient ruins that dot the landscape. Can we learn to fend for ourselves against the dangers this new world poses, and somehow find a way to get back to Skyrim? The main mod I'm using for this challenge is simply named The Island. It strands you in this isolated world designed specifically for survival gameplay. There's not a merchant in sight, so we need to gather our own food, harvest pelts from wild animals to make our own armor, and progressively develop our survival skills. Our goal is to somehow find a way to escape the island and get back to Skyrim, but this run is permadeath. If we die, we have to start all over again from the shipwreck. So let's dive right into things and begin our first attempt at the island survival challenge. Alright, first things first. Let's check our inventory.
Okay, so the only things we have on us are our clothes and some apples. This definitely feels like the start to a survival challenge.
Next, we search around the site of our shipwreck to see if anything useful washed up on shore. We find a barrel with some salt in it, and the body of an unfortunate sailor who didn't survive. He does have an iron dagger in his pocket though, so we take it as our first weapon. Now, we're definitely going to need some basic survival tools. We spend 30 minutes gathering branches, a feature added by the campfire mod. By binding 2 of those branches together with a nice, sharp stone, we fashion a basic hatchet. We can spend another 30 minutes using that hatchet to chop wood and gather the deadwood logs to use later in campfire construction. We're now ready to head inland and start exploring this island. This coastal cave looks as good a place as any to begin. Within the cave, we find a variety of mushrooms, including an unfamiliar type called maize cap that doesn't grow in Skyrim. Maybe that'll have some use later. The cave is short and brings us to the interior of the island. Here there's an abandoned dock and storeroom built with the typical dwarven architecture. Apparently the Dwemer were active on this island at some point. We take a quick look in the storeroom. There are some ruined books scattered about, but there doesn't seem to be much of value here. Or so I thought. Remember this for later. There's some dwarven rubbish on the dock, and we gather up a few scraps that might prove useful later. But what really catches our eye is the sail of a submerged ship in the harbor. This isn't our ship. It must have belonged to another crew, which means there might be survivors from this older wreck somewhere on this island who could help us out. Let's take a look below the surface and see if we can find any clues about what happened.
All right, let's see how much is useful. Oh, okay. Albedius in the history of the Dwemer. Who is that? Okay, I guess that was someone on board the ship here. All right, let's get up for some air. Oh wow, that's flickering. And yeah, I guess we'll have to figure out what happened to the crew. Okay, so this island probably has like a history of Dwemer culture or something.
We go back up for air before diving down to the ship a second time to keep searching.
No. Okay, we just need to get up to the surface real fast. Why did I stay under so long? Get up. No. Oh no. It's been like a minute or 2 on the island and I'm drowned already. Oh no. Okay, well that was a terrible first attempt.
Okay, let's try this again. We gather mushrooms from the coastal cave again, then return to looting the docks. We catch some fish and bugs, then go diving again, more careful to watch our lung capacity this time. We only find 1 drowned man among the wreckage, but discover a manifesto that lists a much larger crew. Presumably, they escaped the wreckage alive. If we can locate them, maybe they can tell us what they've learned about this island, and if there's any way we might get off it. We continue inland, following a trail near the docks up to another old storeroom. The inside is a mess, but it can serve as a shelter for the night if we need it. Back outside, we find a nasty little skeever trying to clamber up the rocks to take a bite out of us. We get our first kill of the playthrough, toasting him up with some fire magic. This gives us an opportunity to start honing our hunting skills. With the Hunterborn mod, we field dress the skeever, which takes a long time because we're inexperienced. Then, we can chop off its tail and harvest a couple small bones for use in crafting. It's getting dark out, so we decide to shelter in the storeroom and make a fire, using branches we collected and a bit of moss as tinder. Again, we barely know how to do this, so it takes us a while to get even a faint fire going. We build a makeshift tanning rack out of some spare logs, but can't really make anything interesting with it yet, because we lack animal pelts.
Oh right, come here you. Your pelt is mine. I need it for crafting. All right, took him down. Where is it? Where'd it go? The wolf like leaped like over me and did it like clip into the ground or something? What happened to it?
We actually really need that pelt so we can use it for bedding. Without it, we literally can't go to sleep, and our total magicka will continue to drop. So we keep hunting despite the darkness of night.
Okay, the wolf is over here. I don't know how it got all the way over here, but here it is. No! Apparently, I need 2 wolf pelts. We gotta get out there and kill another one.
We soon find another wolf to provide the second pelt, but by the time we're done skinning it, the sun is already up. What an exhausting night. Finally, we can craft a fur plate and then turn that into rough bedding. We throw it down on the floor of the storeroom and pass out for most of the day. At least now we can level up, increasing our health and putting our first perk point into cheaper restoration spells. Now our sleep schedule is a mess, but oh well. We get in a little hunting and cook up some seared fox for breakfast. Then, we continue exploring the region around us while the sun sets, narrowly missing an encounter with a bear that very easily could have ended in our death. We get lucky and corner a deer, taking it down with our fire spell. From it, we can harvest venison and another pelt. Further east, we come across a rather odd sight, a dwarven centurion lying motionless in a stream. I don't know if its parts will prove useful, but we take all the scrap that we can. Then, along the southern shoreline, wait, could that be what I think it is?
There's a ship here. There's a ship. It looks like it ran aground and we might not be able to use it currently, but I mean, this has to be here for a purpose. Okay, so this says it's still in decent condition, and if we can find the materials from on the island, we might be able to make the necessary repairs to get it back in the water. We need a few different things, including wooden boards. So presumably all of this is available someplace on the island, and we just have to go out there and find it. So let's head out and start our search.
So far, we've stayed mostly in the southwestern quadrant of the island. We were stranded by the coastal cave over here, then wandered up to the docks, traveled through the woods, and down to the old ship here. Let's head on around to the eastern side of the island and see what resources we can find to help fix up this ship.
There's a house here. Is this like the house of one of those crewmates who escaped the wreck of their ship, or it seems like no one's here. It's abandoned. Okay, I think we can use this. I think this is just a abandoned cabin that we can occupy and take as our home, essentially.
The old forge is out of commission, but we could fire it up if we had enough charcoal. We'll need to keep an eye out for more as we explore. Within the cabin, we find a pair of hunter boots, our first piece of armor. The landscape east of the cabin is unlike anything we've seen on the island so far, home to mammoths and alien-like mushrooms. We do need to acquire a mammoth pelt to fix up the sail on that ship we found, so this might be the place to do it eventually. The cabin might not be much, but it's wonderful just to have a place that could function as a shelter for more than one night. It gives us a base of operations, and you can't beat that sunset view. At our tanning rack, we can turn more of the pelts we've been gathering into crafting materials. We piece together enough fur plates and hide lace to make ourselves some proper armor. There we go. This'll help us stay warm and maybe let us take a few hits in combat. But hey, did you know that only about 6% of viewers on the channel are subscribed? And did you know that formerly Blue is now on Patreon? That's right, you can now support me through Patreon and receive cool perks, including a credit on my videos. So check the link in the description if you're interested in becoming a patron. But if you just want to hit the like button to show your support instead, that's super appreciated too. Alright, let's get back to the island. We build a simple bow out of branches and leather strips, which will hopefully make hunting easier, then get a good night's sleep in our very own bed. From the hunter's cabin, we turn our gaze to this green section of the island, a little to the northeast, hoping to find clues as to where the other shipwreck survivors may have gone.
Mammoth's bane. Well, okay, I guess it's not a secret what this is used for.
We soon come to an ancient dwarven watchtower and check out the inside.
Wow, it's hard to see in here. Yeah, that's a corpse. I think we found one of the lost crewmates.
In the crewmate's journal, he makes a mention of Mammoth's Bane, that new plant we just found, and says that when mixed with a mushroom, it made a killer poison. We'll have to keep that in mind for later. We continue a little further up into the mountains and come across more dwarven ruins, ancient and foreboding. Within one building, we find some sort of scholar's lab with a mess of papers strewn across the floor. Through another door lies a dark cavern, highly reminiscent of Blackreach, with a still operational dwarven spider worker. We manage to take it down with fire magic, though it does scrape us up a bit.
And yeah, here's another crewmate. Hopefully there will be a few survivors who are still alive on the island and can help us out, but the ones we found so far are not.
Cautiously, we proceed down deeper into the cavern.
Okay, oh, that's an arrow. They're a Falmer here. They're a Falmer. Okay, oh no, that really hurt. We don't have any potions. I just have to heal. Okay. Quickly. How do I even get up? Okay, yeah, that was terrible. That was... Heading down there was basically walking into a trap.
Well, third time's the charm, as they say, so let's give it another go. We pick our mushrooms, then loot the underwater ship. There's a third level to the wreck that we don't have enough lung capacity to explore, but maybe we can come back sometime in the future if we find another method of breathing underwater. Next, we prioritize gathering pelts so that we can get a quick start on crafting useful gear. We find a bedroll atop a watchtower near the docks and rest there for our first night. Now that we know where the old ship and Hunter's cabin are, we can cut down on time spent wandering around and head there right away on day 2. Along the way, we find a storeroom that we missed on our last attempt, which holds an elk hide. This will be useful for crafting armor later. We locate the damaged ship again, then lay claim to the Hunter's cabin as our base of operations. We turn our animal pelts into fur body armor, and can even upgrade it to the fine tier for bonus armor rating. In the morning, we carve out a walking stick from some dead wood, which increases our stamina. Then we set off eastwards again through the mammoth habitat to do some more hunting.
That pelt you have looks awful nice. I will fully admit to the fact that that was some serious NA aim there.
Using the Scrimshaw power from the Hunterborn mod, we can craft little bone trinkets like this one, which increases the quantity of materials we'll harvest from dead animals.
That's a dwarven centurion just hanging out there. I mean, it doesn't seem aggressive. It doesn't seem like it. Well, it's not moving right now. Yeah, I'm just gonna steer clear.
After gathering materials for the day, we return to the cabin where we can now craft a set of fur bracers. We can also use Scrimshaw to fashion a mortar and pestle out of animal bones, which will let us start making potions. The next morning, we get an early start. Let's head north to the far end of the island and search for more shipwreck survivors, or at least figure out how to acquire wooden boards to fix up the ship. In the northeastern quadrant of the island, we come across another cave to search.
Yep, okay, there's a troll here. I don't know that we can deal with this. Okay, it followed us out. Well, wait, it's not moving though. Is it just gonna... Wait, I think its AI is broken. It's not moving. Okay, sure, I guess we could use some roasted troll.
With the troll dead, we can search its cave and locate a corundum ore vein. If we combine corundum and iron ores, we can make steel, which allows us to perform more advanced crafting if we manage to fire up the old forge. Also in the cave, we locate more maze-cap mushrooms. Now that we have a mortar and pestle, we could try combining these with Mammoth's Bane, if we can find more of it on this attempt. Within a nearby watchtower, we also scavenge a pretty great weapon, a dwarven bow and a set of arrows. This'll give us some real firepower and make hunting easier. On the roof of that tower, we discover another prize, a map of Skyrim and its surrounding islands. If we can fix up the ship, we may be able to find our way back home with this map. Our chances of making it off this island are suddenly looking much brighter.
Sweet, there's a cabin here too. All right, yeah, this looks like we can use it as a home. We should be able to sleep here, and it comes with plenty of equipment for crafting. Great.
Now we have another safe shelter on the other half of the island. And this cabin comes with a huge perk, a still functioning sawmill. It looks like we could chop down the aspen trees in this area. So maybe with the mill, we can cut the boards that we need to fix up the ship. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We still need more linen wraps and charcoal before we start hauling logs around. We make a fire in our new cabin and cook up some troll meat and seared fat for dinner. The next day, we piece together a fur helmet, giving us almost a complete set of armor. Now we're looking like a real wilderness survival pro. So now we've seen most of 3/4 of the island. Let's wrap around the western end until we get back to the docks.
Those are Spriggans. Maybe we could kill them? Is it worth it even? It probably isn't. How many are there? Okay, there are like three of them, I think. It might even be a fourth. Okay, you know, there's no reason to go over there. Let's just stay away, and we'll climb up these rocks instead.
We come across more ruins and head in closer to investigate. We're soon attacked by a pair of wolves, but with our fancy new bow and armor, we're well equipped to handle them. Within these ruins, we hit a jackpot, 12 sticks of charcoal. Wow, I never expected to be calling charcoal a jackpot. But this brings us close to the 15 sticks we need to get the forge at our first cabin working again. We also find a hidden entrance that leads to a tunnel, which takes us back to the Blackreach-like area where we died last attempt. I'd rather not lose this attempt to Fulmer again, so we turn tail and get out of there. As we leave the ruins behind and explore the island's northwestern forest, we come across a third abandoned cabin. This one's situated on the banks of a gorgeous pond. There's another forge here that's not in working shape, and some sort of shrine with text describing the water-breathing spell. We can use 1 stick of charcoal and a roll of paper to copy it down onto a scroll. Once we've circumnavigated the island and returned to the docks, maybe we can use that scroll to finally see what's on the bottom level of that shipwreck. I really love the environment in this section of the island. The dense forest reminds me of Falkreath, both tranquil and mysterious. We come across another dead body, probably belonging to another member of the sunken ship's crew. At this point, I'm guessing that everyone from that ship is dead, and we sadly won't be getting any real help from them. Later that day, we complete our circuit of the island and arrive back at the docks. Now let's use that scroll of water breathing and see what lies in the very depths of the shipwreck.
I don't think there's anything here. It would have made a ton of sense for there to be some super useful equipment item here, but I really don't see anything. That's so anticlimactic. I felt like this was a great place to hide a treasure.
Alright, so that was disappointing, but let's focus on our goal. Now that we have a good idea of what various resources we have around the island, let's home in on repairing the old ship. First, we need 10 leather strips, 5 linen wraps, a mammoth pelt, and 20 wooden boards to get it afloat. The leather strips shouldn't be too difficult to come by, as we can make those out of deer pelts, but we're gonna need to find some more linen wraps.
Yes, there's Mammoth's Bane here. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm combining Mammoth's Bane and Maze Cap. Oh, that is definitely a potent poison. I certainly hope we can use this to kill a mammoth now. Okay, so we apply our poison and take our shot. Oh no, that's only like half? How much health does this thing have? I did bring a second poison, but it's not even close to as strong, so this is not going to be enough to kill it.
Apparently, we're gonna need more Mammoth's Bane. We spend time foraging the grassy slopes above the mammoth habitat, where this plant seems to grow in decent concentrations. I'm not quite sure how many we'll need, but we do manage to find several more bunches growing nearby. Now, we've brewed up 5 Mammoth's Bane poisons, which should be more than enough to take one down.
Whew, okay, and that has done the trick. Your pelt is mine. I'm gonna string you up from a mast on my new ship.
Excellent. Now we can repair the sail of the ship. Let's get to crafting those leather strips next. And this is a mammoth bathing in its natural habitat. What a rare sight to see. With the hides we've gathered, we complete step 2 and craft the 10 leather strips we'll need. Next, we turn to crafting 20 wooden boards, so we chop down an aspen tree. At the mill, we can convert it into 5 of the 20 planks we'll need. The wooden boards are pretty heavy, so it'll take a couple trips for us to haul them all down to the southern shore of the island. Inside another dwarven ruin, we find 2 more linen wraps, giving us a total of 4, just one short.
However, I do have a torch, and I can uncraft the torch, turning it back into a linen wrap. And that gives us all the wraps that we need.
And at last, we haul everything down to the ship that we need to repair it. Our planks, mammoth hide, linen wraps, and leather strips. Let's repair the ship. Great, now we have a working water vessel. But before we can depart, we'll need provisions. Who knows how long it'll take to get to Skyrim from here? We already have a map, so we just need 10 potatoes and 3 venison chops. Unfortunately, cooking the venison chops is no easy task because the recipe is too advanced for us to do at a campfire without having a cooking pot. And cooking pots we can only craft at a working forge. So, it's back to searching for the last few charcoal sticks we need to get the old forge at the first cabin working again. Along the way, we stumble across a wild potato. It may be difficult to find 9 more on the island, so we utilize the planter outside our cabin to grow more, but it will take a few days for us to get 10 this way. Also, there's apparently a charcoal stick laying on the cabin floor that I somehow missed before. We just need 2 more now. We search the island high and low, including a spider-infested cave, but no more charcoal sticks are turning up just yet. We return to the docks to see if we missed any.
There's charcoal. There's charcoal. There's one. I think there's one, like, in the ashes there. Like, very briefly. Wait, if I get to just the right angle. If I get it to just the right angle, I think I can grab it. Like, that is charcoal. Yeah, no, it showed up. It showed up. It flickered. The option. I can, if I just need to get the perfect angle to pick it up. That is definitely a charcoal stick. Yes, there it is. Oh, that's 15. That's 15. That's 15. We finally have it.
At last, we can light up the forge and get down to some real smithing. By combining corundum and iron ores, we can make steel. And with 2 steel ingots, we can make our very own cooking pot. Setting it up next to our campfire, we can now make a variety of advanced recipes, including venison chops. We're very nearly there now. We just need to wait for our potatoes to grow before we'll have all the provisions we need for our journey to Skyrim. The day has finally come. It's time to depart. We grew from a desperate shipwreck survivor into an experienced survivalist, and have now gathered everything needed to escape from the island. We can finally leave the isolating wilderness behind, the mysterious forests and endless blue waters. Back to Skyrim's bustling cities and crowds, to civilization and all that comes with it. The grunt labor and the politics and the civil war, to living in tiny hovels in stinking streets and getting spat on by the nobles who think being born rich makes them better than us. Maybe we can stay on the island just a little while longer.